Well, I just recorded three stories. I was on Skyping with Plain Jet 42. That's what you know him by. His name's Jared. Lives in Cleveland. We've made a few exchanges for silver for fossils and petrified wood. But anyway, we got talking about music, and I was telling him three stories. My Jim Morrison story, my Janis Joplin story, and the story and the Woodstock story. I didn't go to Woodstock, so let's not everybody uh, think that. But so that damn thing ran 20. I said, this system makes more sense. Let me put it up as a video because who the hell, maybe somebody else would be interested in these because they are sort of funny stories. And so I put it, I videotaped it on my Logitech and it ran 22 minutes and 28 seconds. Now I've ran stuff 15 minutes, 18 minutes, never had any problem. Now my goddamn Logitech won't put the goddamn thing up. So I figured, well, let me break them down. I'll break it into three stories. Let me break them down to three short videos and see if the damn thing works or just the Logitech is screwed up. Who knows? But anyway, we'll start off with Jim Morrison. Uh, I'm over at a friend's house, Eddie Eddie Cahill. Uh, he's the guy who I want to go visit. I can't find anybody to go with me. I'm looking through pictures here now to show you get a picture of him, maybe a picture of what I looked like at the time. Uh, yeah, I don't know why I look so mean in that one, but anyway. So here's Eddie and his first wife. Now they're the ones that are living in Hawaii. But his parents had bought him a house. I met him. He was one of my first students when I was teaching logic at the University of Miami. Here's a picture of him and his wife now in Hawaii, and they're the ones I want to go visit. And it's still open. Anybody, any young person that's interested, please get in touch with me. I still want to go to Hawaii. But anyway, so I'm over his house, and he had rented. He changed all the rooms into bedrooms, and his parents had bought this house in South Miami, so they could pay for the mortgage and pay for the house. They rented all of these other rooms out, so there were 5 or 6 other college kids renting rooms off them. Well, this particular night, there were 2 kids that were going to go down that had bought tickets to see Jim Morrison at Dinner Key Auditorium in Miami. So Ed says, "Why don't we go down?" And I said, "I hate crowds. That's the reason I didn't go to Woodstock, but that's part of another story." So I said, "I hate crowds. I'm not really into going down there." So he says, "Oh no," he said, "we can go down, and it's place is like a big warehouse." He said, and they open these giant windows in the back, and you can hear the music better from the windows, open windows, than you can from going inside. So I said, "All right, we'll go down," because we were stoned. We didn't have any other fucking thing to do. So we go down there, and the music's already playing, and Morrison's he's on the microphone saying, "You people are walking around like you're in a bucket of shit," and so forth and so on. But the band's playing. The band never misses a beat. So after about 20 minutes of listening to this, and the band's playing, and he's not really singing the songs, he's just rattling on, and they're going through a whole series of songs. Somebody opens one of the fire doors in the back, and about 200 of us scream in the back door, right? So we go in there, and he's still talking his line of shit and all. And for some reason, a whole bunch of people storm the stage, and the cops come out, and Morrison, he's reaching around a whole cluster of cops and all around him. He grabs one of the cops' hats and flings it out into the audience like a frisbee, and the whole crowd goes wild, of course. And because most of the crowds are they're fucked up too. I mean, they're stoned or tripping or whatever. So they clear the stage, and the stage announcer comes on, and he says, "Listen, only musicians allowed on the stage." So Jim goes up, Morrison, and pushes the guy off the off the stage down and says he's not a fucking musician. So they push the guy back on, and the two of them get in a tussle, and the both of them fall off, and they push him back up on stage, and the cops come out again, and everything's settling down. Well, meanwhile, this guy that's a he's a vegetarian, and it's a separate story. I'll get to his story next time. He gets on stage and he's passing out his flyers, but they don't fly very far because they're only pieces of paper. So his friend, who I'll explain in another video, he gets the bright idea of throwing a whole ream of these out. So he throws this giant box out, sails it off the stage, and this goes flying through the air, and me and Ed looked at each other and we said, this ain't going to end good, and it hits this guy right in the fucking head and just like explodes, and all these papers come out, and they're flyers on that this guy put out, which I'll put a short video out as soon as this one's over about this guy, and then another short one on Joan Baez and see if they go to fuck up. But anyway, so they clear the stage again, and then it's so fucking hot in there. Morrison comes out and all he has on is these leather pants. Meanwhile, the band, they ain't missed a beat. They're playing in the background. So he gets on with the microphone and says, anybody want to see me whack off? Well, 20,000 people all go, yay, go ahead. So he unbuttons his top of his pants, flips his cock out and starts whacking off. And zoom, the cops come right back on and they shut the show down. So that's all well and fine. So eventually he was fined $25,000 from the city of Miami. Anyway, so we go back to Ed's house, and the two kids that had tickets, they come in, and they have his leather jacket. Because when they first stormed the stage, he had taken his leather jacket off and thrown it on the stage. They grabbed the fucking jacket. Well, in the jacket was his passport and his wallet, and they turned them back in. Now, can you imagine what his passport would be worth these days? Now, we all knew that that was his jacket because the whole thing happened in front of us, and the kids were right up front, and they stormed the stage and got it. But there was no way of proving that was his fucking jacket. But could you imagine if they had kept that? If they had kept the passport and the wallet, that would have been worth something today. But that was my Jim Morrison story. That was the first live concert I ever went to. So stay tuned if you like this one. I got two more coming up.